everybody. Welcome to our Crafty Hour. Hope you are having a fabulous start to your Tuesday. We are going to be crafting with 3/4 vintage man. So this is going to be our Crafty Hour for today. This was called Crafty Hour number 13. So if you want to craft along with me, you certainly can. This will be available on replay, so you can craft along at a later date. We do not get rid of these videos. They will always be here. Good morning, Janet. So they will always be here. And if you make sure that you say you're going to the event when we post the event, then it becomes in your group. So you can go look at it super easily. That's why we make that little effort to do it as an event. So good morning, everyone. So we are going to play with the vintage man. That is Crafty Hour number 13. This was very, very popular. Very popular. So I'm going to be doing 3 cards with you this morning. And as I mentioned, this is not classified as a class. This is a free craft along, if you want to say that. And you can use the product. We do sell the product as a bundle, so you can definitely use the product with us. Or you can just kind of get some ideas and use whatever product you have at home. My Crafty Hour will be 1 hour, and then we have Courtney will be hopping on. Remember, you have to go to her Facebook page, which is Scrapbook and Memories, and I'll post a link after today. And then, of course, you can follow along with her at 5 p.m. Western, or Pacific, I guess I should say, 5 p.m. Pacific time. So she also had an event. So hopefully you have clicked that you are going to that event, and then you will also get notification. So good morning, everyone. If you haven't opened your kits yet, please do so. Yes, Charlene, this is the long-awaited. Oh my gosh, this one gave us a few gray hairs because it was so popular. It is from 3/4 Designs, which is a company out of New Zealand. Very good friends of mine own this company, love them. They are a small family business, and they're fantastic. They're just fabulous people. We're going to be meeting up with them next week for dinner, so we will be definitely giving them a lot of tips and hints of what we are looking for. Inside your kit, you're going to have 2 sheets of the die cuts. Mine are kind of starting to fall apart. So I'm going to set these off to the side. So you're going to have 2 sheets of these. You are going to have a bunch of card bases. We're going to trim these down to a little bit more normal North American size, but you are going to have some card bases. And then you're going to have some papers. And again, most of these are background papers, so it doesn't really matter which ones you use, but I will walk you through which ones I used. You have some greetings. Some of them are done in craft, and some of them are done in like a cream-ish color. And then you have these, and we're going to use a few of these as well. So we're going to be doing a lot of trimming this morning. When you do buy these kits, they do have some ideas on the back of what you can do. I am not going to be doing the ones on the back here. I have created my own, so you don't need to have this handy. And then as an added bonus, which this is what gave us a little bit of a headache, we have given you a few gears, and everybody's gears might be slightly different. They will all work. Everybody will have gears in their kits. I know for the Clipper Street gals, we have ordered more of these to sell, and they should be here, I'm hoping, in the next week-ish. We had to special order them, so they take a little bit longer. So those are everything that you need. Now, in mine, I did say that I was going to be using a brown ink. I'm going to be using frayed burlap, which is why I have my craft mat here. And then these two colors of foil, these colors were in our Crafters Home exclusive bundle. There is a chocolate brown and a teal. You can use cardstock. You don't have to use these if you don't want to. That is totally up to you. I'm going to slide my die cuts off to the side. These die cuts, well, they're not staying in. These die cuts are so well die cut that they just fall out, which is good and bad. So I'm going to set these off to the side up here for now. So good morning. So we're going to get started because I'm hoping to get through 3 cards today. So you can craft along. If I go too fast, don't worry. Remember that this is, first it's a craft along. It's not necessarily a class. And you can go back and watch this at any time you want. There is no pressure to do it right now. Some people like to sit and watch, and that's totally okay to do. So have a coffee, relax. This is going to be the first one that I am going to make. So this is a happy birthday card. We've got some gears in here. And like I said, you've got different gears, so yours might be different. I might put different gears on this one. It's all good. So this is the first card we're going to make. And for this card, you are going to need an A2, well, it's not an A2, but you're going to need a card that either has a top fold like this one or a side fold like this one. Either card will work, okay? As long as you don't cut the score line, either card will work. We are going to trim it down so that it is a more normal size card. This is a 4x6 card. So we're going to trim it down just a little bit. So we're going to get started now. So I'm going to take my trimmer and I'm going to make this one a top folding card for myself. So I'm going to take that score line and I am going to trim it at 5.5. So I'm going to take the score line to 5.5. And I'm just going to cut off 1/2 inch. Okay, so that is just going to make it a little bit more of a normal size card for me. So I've trimmed the card down to 5.5. That is first step. I'm going to bring in some ink. We're going to ink. And when I ink, all I'm going to be inking is just the edge because nobody is going to see anywhere else. We don't need to go crazy on it. So all we're going to do is just bring it in, whichever brown you like. And we're just going to quickly do the edge. It is a quick process, giving it kind of a little frame of brown all the way around. This is optional. If you want to leave it white, you absolutely can. I'm going to need a new foam soon. It's kind of a little dry on me. Okay, and that's all I did. It's not a long process. You can see it's fairly quick. And this is just going to give it a brown look all the way around instead of the white. So that's all, whichever ink you had. I used frayed burlap. Okay, we're going to bring in some of our chocolate brown foil. Now you can use cardstock if you wish, a dark brown cardstock. That will totally work too. Okay, my die cut won't pop out. I have to cut mine. Mine are falling out. That's really odd. But there will be spots that you might need to nip it for sure. Okay, so this got printed rather small and I apologize. We're going to cut the first one at 5 3/8, which is just under 5.5. This is going to give us our nice score, or a nice mat. So just under 5.5. Good morning, Courtney. Just under 5.5. Now this can be cardstock, as I mentioned. I'm going to use that foil from our exclusive bundle, but you can use chocolate brown cardstock if you wish. So 5 3/8, and then I'm going to trim it to 4 1/8. 4 1/8. Now I'm going to make sure it fits first. Might need to, Oh, that's silly. That's not 4 1/8. I forgot that these cards are not normal size. They gotta be 3 7/8. 3 7/8. I have it always in my brain that our North American cards are 4 1/4. So I was in North America mode. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm just going to get that small little brown all the way around. I think I'm going to take a hair off because it looks like I could do it just a bit more. Just a smidge. Let's see how that looks. That looks better. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. Just giving me that little border of the brown that I inked. And maybe you didn't ink, which is totally fine. Let's glue that together. Perfect. Okay. So this brown foil or brown cardstock, 5 3/8 by 3 7/8, just gives me that small border all the way around. Now I'm going to go to my pattern papers, and like I said, most of them are all interchangeable, like pretty much all of them. I'll show you which ones I used, and of course you can choose whichever. But I used this one right here. This is a vertical one. It's got the gears down in the bottom, and it's got this little kind of arrowy thing down there. That's the one I'm going to use for this. So if you want to go ahead and find this one, I'm going to cut it, so I'm only showing you one. And then we will trim it down as well. So this is the one I need you to find. Beautiful layers on here, really nice distressed. I didn't distress this one any further. I was happy with the way it looked. And it's got to fit onto that brown foil. So you can see that we're going to trim it up just a little bit so we get that brown foil all the way around. I don't want to lose the gears, so I'm going to take it off the top. Oh, you should have that sheet, Susan. You should. We didn't open these kits. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, if we want to count that one, 6, 7 sheets, 8 sheets altogether. You should have 8 sheets, and they do reference them at the front. Now you can pick any other one for now. Doesn't matter at all. I know Courtney's going to be using different ones too, but maybe at the end we'll find it. We'll get you squared away. So I want you to cut this to 5 1/4. 5 1/4. That is what we need to trim this to. And I'm taking it off of the top, 5 1/4. And of course, as I mentioned, any of your papers will work. Don't get hung up on which paper for this. It won't matter. Okay, I'm going to just check top, bottom. There you go. I'm so glad you found it, Susan. And then I'm going to take a little bit off my side. So I'm going to take it to, well, let's try, see if that will work. Yep, it is going to be approximately 3 3/4. Approximately 3 3/4. Now I always want you to double check and make sure that it does fit. So when I hold this up, I can see that I get brown all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and glue it together. And I'm going to keep moving so that we don't run out of time. Okay. I'd rather get you all 3 cards and you guys go back and create if you run out of time. That would not be good. Okay. So we've got that. I'm going to go to another piece of paper. And let's see, which paper would it be? This one. Okay, this is the next one we are going to use. It is a gray one. It does have gears down here on the bottom. Has this big crack there. That is the next one we are going to use. So I'm going to cut this one out so so that you can see which one. And again, don't get hung up on the papers. They're all going to work. All going to work. So this is the next one I am going to take. It's got a little bit of a blue tone to it. Okay, I'm going to put it into my trimmer horizontal. I want to use these gears down here. So I'm going to take it to 2 7/8. That's just under 3. 2 7/8. Just under 3. Uda, they should have been shipped unless you have not contacted us that they are shipping. Give the store a call and they can certainly help you. And I don't think we need to trim it that way. So we're good with this. All we did was 2 7/8. It should be 3 3/4 tall. Now, of course, I want to mat this on brown, so I'm going to use a little bit of my scraps here to mat it. I'm going to mat it at 3 by 3 7/8. So I'm going to take it to 3, and then I'm going to take it to 3 7/8. I just want a skinny border around it. Perfect. Just like that. So we are now on this portion. We cut that paper to 2 7/8 by 3 3/4. And then our mat is just a little bit bigger. I'm going to glue those together. Okay. That foil just kind of makes it really pop on there. Okay, time to grab out the foam tape. We're going to attach this piece to our card. So I'm going to get some foam tape. And I'm going to stick some on the back. I'm going to put a little bit in the middle. And I'm going to kind of put it in the middle, side to side, but a little bit closer. Oops, my glue's still wet. A little bit closer to the top. So even side to side and closer to the top. I'm not going to block the bottom here. So this border, and this border, those 3 borders are all about the same. My gears are down in the bottom. And I have about the same. And that is with foam tape. Okay, we have one more paper to cut for this one. And it's going to come from this piece right here. We're going to cut out this typewriter. So first thing I'm going to do is just cut it out. Just kind of get to it. I'm not going to have any border around it. No measurements right now. I will fuss with my measurements in a minute. I just want to cut it. So I just have this little typewriter. Now you'll notice that I'm not inking any of these papers. I don't feel I need to because they do have a nice border of darker brown around them, so I'm okay with that. So I want this to be, let's see, it's going to be just over 2, and it's going to be about 3 1/4. So we don't need to cut this anymore. Once we've taken that border off, it's perfect. Okay, we don't need to adjust it anymore. And I'm going to just glue it onto this leftover piece and then trim it. Okay, so all I did is cut off all the borders, went with that natural size once the border is cut off. I'm going to glue it on here, and then I'll just trim around it and give it a nice little border. Oops, my glue is still a little wet. Okay. Perfect. Now I'm going to go to my die cuts that are kind of falling out here. And oh, this one that's falling out, I'm going to use. This is the one I'm going to use. This is the little die cuts. I am going to give this a little bit of a brown ink to it. And this is like a little library card. There we go. I'm just going to kind of give it just a little bit of brown to dirty it up. This takes ink really nice, so do be cautious. Remember that it's very difficult to remove ink. It's a lot easier to add ink, so don't go heavy-handed. So that's nice and quick. And then I'm going to glue this right like that. So I think I'll just put a little bit of glue on the back corner there. Just a little bit. This is going to go up in the top left. So right here, that's where I put glue. Top left, I've got glue. And I'm going to just smoosh it on top of there, pick it up. I'm going right underneath borrower's name and right beside the due date column. So it's just going to kind of peek out of there. Okay. Foam tape. We're going to add some foam tape. Now with the foam tape here, I'm just going to go straight down the middle there because I am going to add some gears. So I don't want to have, yeah, that should work. I don't want to bump into any of that space. So that's probably good. I can always add a little bit if I need to. And then I'm going to shift down and to the right. I think right about there is good. Yep. Right about there. Now the reason why I shifted down and over is because I wanted to still see all this lovely color here. I didn't want to hide that. So that's why I did that. Okay, now we're going to add some of the gears. Now you can choose whichever gears you want. I'm going to pick 3 of my small ones, but you do still have some of these other gears. If you want, you can use that one right there. Maybe for this, I'll use that one there. Whichever you would like. Oh, Judy, I'm so sorry you got a broken arm. Well, thank you for joining us all the same. And yes, it is on replay. So now the glue to use for this, you can use the Barely Art glue. It holds well. You can use the quick dry glue. It holds well. You can use glossy accents, but make sure that you don't get any seeping out because if you do, it will dry glossy. Okay. And so I am just adding some gears. I'm going to do just 2 for now. Tuck that under there. Okay, so I just added a couple of gears. The last gear I'm going to wait to add until I have my greeting on there. You have lots of greetings to choose from. You pick whichever greeting you like. You might want to add your greeting after, and that is okay. I'm just going to take the top one here. Totally fine, whichever greeting you wish. I'm going to do a happy birthday, and I'm not going to trim it too tight. I'm going to take a little bit off. There's no right or wrong here. It is up to you how wide you want your happy birthday. I'm going to make mine about 3/4 of an inch wide because I want to still see some of the paper. I don't want it too wide. Remember, light on the ink. Just give it a little bit of ink. You don't have to ink it if you don't want to. Woo, I love it. Okay, so I just did a little bit. And you don't have to put foil on this if you don't want to. I am going to. So I'm just going to take this and just cut a piece slightly wider. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Yeah, these would be great for Father's Day. You're right. You can use Cheers. You're amazing. If you use these ones, you can ink them nicely. Would work perfect. I think, let me just see. Yeah, I'm going to just trim this before I glue it. So you trim your greeting down to however you want it to be. Just going to smidge this just a bit more. And again, you don't have to do it with foil if you don't want to. Let's just do this. And then I'm going to add that one last gear. Okay. Then I think we're done card 1. Perfect. Now I'm going to put foam tape on the back of this. So I'm going to put a piece across the back. And on this end, I'm going to do double. I know I need to do double because this is a higher level. So if you've been in my classes, you know we have to do a little math. So I have double at the very end. And I'm going to put it right there. Now let me show you why I put it there. So first of all, this is going to cover up the bottom of the tag. Now this gear looks like it's peeking out from there as well. So that is why I did it at the bottom of the tag and just above. I also don't like my lines to line up. So I shifted it a bit more to the left. If I had shifted it to the right, it would have lined up. And I don't like that, but it's not right or wrong. You don't have to. Okay, I'm going to take one more small gear. One more small gear. Put a little bit of glue on, and I'm going to tuck that one right there. And that card is done. First card finished. Great timing. That is card number 1. So again, any of your gears you can use, they're all interchangeable. Thank you, Lynn. All interchangeable. And that brown just really pops. Okay, we're going to move on to card number 2. Now, I'm going to show you a couple different things on card number 2. This is going to be card number 2, so we're going to bring in some teals. And again, you can have this card open on the side, or you can have this card open at the top. Your choice. For this one, I'm going to have the card open at the top. Doesn't matter, either or will work. Both will work. And I am not going to ink this one. I am not inking it. I am keeping it a little bit more on the cleaner side. So I do not need my ink for this one. Okay, working on the next one. Yes, thank goodness for replay. See, this is why we don't stress the classes and that, because it's always available for you. So once again, I'm going to trim my card down to 5.5. So I'm going to take this score line and I'm going to trim the height down to 5.5. 5.5. Just making it a little bit more normal, if there's such a thing. Now, this is where we're going to go into that teal colored foil from your exclusive kit. And I'm going to cut it this way first. I'm going to take it to just under 4. I always forget these cards are only 4 inches wide, so I'm going to take it to 3 7/8. Okay, 3 7/8, just under 4. 3 7/8, just under 4. And the length of it will be just under 5.5. That should be the front of our card. We're going to hold it up, make sure that it does fit. We'll see if it fits. If I need to adjust, well, of course I can. Let's see. Oh, it's perfect. Now, don't say you can't ink this one like we did our last one, but I am just not going to. So I'm going to take and glue this on. And then I'm going to find the pattern paper for this one. There's a lot of little teal spots in this paper, which is why I went with a teal for it. Let's see, which one? Oh, this one. We've already cut the other half. So we've already cut this. This should be just lying around from our last card. This is the one that we're going to use now. It's got the ledger paper on the left. It's got a little flower poking out. It's got some teal. That's what we're going to bring forward on this card. We're going to do a lot more die cuts on this one as well. So you just had that. Marion, I don't know. There is some. Did you not get the exclusive bundle? Oh my gosh. It was pretty amazing. Okay, so we're going to take the bottom because I don't want to cut off the teal. So I want to keep the teal, so I'm going to cut off the top. I'm going to take the bottom to 5 1/4. 5 1/4. Cutting off the top. And then, let's see, it should fit sideways. Oh, perfect. That's all we have to do, just the one cut. 5 1/4 tall. Ready to glue on. Make sure that your paper is going the right direction and glue that onto your card. I lied. We are going to ink up a little bit here. I can tell on the next one. Just not inking the card. Okay. That was a nice, easy one. We don't have to cut. That is done. Okay, I'm going to scoot over to all my die cuts that are just falling out all on their own. I'm going to take 2 die cuts right now. I'm going to take this one here, this big one here that has all of the writing on it. I'm going to take this one. And I'm also going to take this little red one, just for now. I'll put these away for now. These are the 2 that I'm going to take. The library card has all the red stamps on it. And I'm just going to give it a little bit of ink. Again, remember, not a lot. This really takes the ink nice, so you don't need too much, just enough to give it a little bit of aging. Tone down that lighter color. Same with this one. Okay. Oops, let's put the lid on that. Okay, I'm going to start with this big one. I'm just going to glue this flat up in the top corner, just like so. And you know what? I'm even going to do this because I want you guys to save some of this because, again, why waste it? So just going to cut that in half. That's about all I need. So just under half we're going to cut right around Democracy in America. That's where I'm going to just tear it. Thank you, Sharon. Why not? We can stuff that somewhere else. Just don't cut it too short. And we're just going to put that up kind of right like that. Okay, we're not going to see the bottom, as you can see from my card. We're not going to see the bottom, so no stressing on that. Okay, let's see if I can find the next paper. Next paper is this half. We have already cut some of it. Already cut some. This is just one sheet all by itself. We cut the first one in the first card. It's got this ledger, and we're going to use that ledger again because the background has the ledger. So we're going to use it again. We've already cut. We only need to make one cut. We're going to be using the side with the ledger. So we're going to take it to 2 3/4. 2 3/4. The height is already right. We'll put this aside. Okay, so it already will be 3 3/4. And now we're just going to cut some foil to go on there. So the foil will be 2 7/8. Let me get this right here. Foil will be 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. Now you can glue it together first if you wish. That's perfect. So just under 3 by just under 4 should be the right measurement. Let's glue those two together. Oh, thank you, Linda. We are lucky to have all of you. That is for sure. We are glad you enjoy. Best ideas come in the middle of the night sometimes, right? All right. Isn't that teal amazing? Oh, there we go. Oops, my glue moved. There we go. A little bit pop of teal all the way around. Now we're going to put some foam tape on, and I know I'm going to be doing some stuffing, so I am not taking my foam tape right to the very edge. I'm going to pinch in a little. So just like that, so that I can stick some things under. And I'm going to put this on a slight angle, slight being the key word, like so. Okay, I don't want it to be too strong of an angle. It is just a slight angle. Perfect. Then let's take this little guy, this little library card, and we'll just put a little bit of glue on the back of it. And again, it's going to go on a angle. I'm going to put it here so that you can see. I am right underneath the number 1579, and it does come to the edge of my card a little bit. So I'll leave that there so you can see placement for that. Does come off the bit. It's right to the edge of my card, right under 1579. Okay, we're going to bring in our die cuts again. We're going to, I got pieces. I'm just going to take these out because they're just going to drive me crazy. Pieces all over. Okay, so the flowers that we need, we're going to take this flower here. Maybe I only use one flower on here. Oh, yep, I think I only use one. This is the flower we need. We need the pocket watch. And we need the deck of cards, not the heart. It came flying. So these are the 3 die cuts we need. Deck of cards, pocket watch, and the flower. I'm going to start with the flower, and we're just going to cut that in half. I did not worry about which way I cut it in half. I just cut it in half. That's all I did. Okay, the first piece, doesn't matter to me which piece, is going to go like that. We're just kind of tucking it underneath. Yep. I think we'll do the thank you next. Okay, so I just kind of tuck that underneath about halfway, finishing the bottom of that brown card. Don't worry about here, we're not done. But I am going to jump and pick a greeting. Now you have lots of greetings here. I'm going to choose one of the creamy ones, just because I want this one to be a little bit creamier. And I'm just going to take the same one that I have here. I'm going to trim it. Now, I don't want to trim this too much. I still want it to be a fairly good size. Did I trim it too much? Yeah, I can take a little bit off. Let's see. I'll kind of tell you. It's about 7/8 of an inch, maybe. Now, you can choose any one you want. We're going to mat it onto some teal again. Let's see if I did that. Oh, perfect. Okay, we'll glue that on. I'm just going to get this on because I want this to be a placer. Now, if you're still doing this, don't worry. I'm going to actually demo something, so don't stress. I'm just going to let that dry for a quick sec. And while I'm letting that dry, I'm going to give a tad bit of ink to my playing cards. So here you can see, you can leave them white, but you can see the color difference. I just gave them a little bit of ink. Same with my pocket watch. So I'm just going to, I'm not even going into my ink pad to get more ink. I'm just using kind of what's left on there. And same with my pocket watch. Ooh, I'm getting really dry now. Might need a little bit more. Yep, that'll work. Whoops, almost put that in my coffee. Okay. So let me show you what we'll do now. Okay, I have my greeting on teal. I'm going to put one strip of foam tape right down the middle. And I want to make sure that this is in the middle because once again, I'm going to start stuffing some gears. I'm going to put this across the bottom. It's going to go across the bottom of that library card. It is on the same angle as my ledger paper. Okay. And then I am going to take, I should actually be using my black foam tape here, but I forgot. I'm going to take a piece and I'm going to double my foam tape and I'm going to put it right there. Right at the end of my thank you. That piece is double high. Okay, I've doubled it. That's going to take my pocket watch on an angle, like so. Finishes that end. I am going to then take the rest of my flower, because remember I cut my flower in half. That just makes my flower go a little bit further. And I'm going to put some foam tape on the back of my flower. And I'm going to stick it like that. So it just makes it look like I have more flowers. Take some glue. And I'm going to put this here. Like that. Now I know I'm going to cover that bottom up with a gear, so that's why I'm just going to leave that like that for a moment. Okay, let me show you what we're going to do. Now, one thing I like to do, and if you were in our, how's our time? Oh, we're not bad. If you were in our Maker Mania a few Maker Manias ago, I did a demo on patina and waxes, and I'm just going to use some of this on my wax now. So what I'm going to show you, this is the green patina. This is from Finnabar. It is from Prima. They do come in jars if you have one of the old ones. This makes it so they don't dry out, so they changed them all to tubes back a couple of years ago. And this is a matte wax, meaning it's not going to be shiny. I like to use it for giving a patina look onto our gears. Now it is permanent after it dries, so I don't have to worry about it coming off in my hands. I like to use a little stipple brush, I'm going to use this one, and we'll use this one. I like to use a little stipple brush that just I can pounce with them, because that's what I'm going to do. So some wax we'll put on with our finger. You could with this, but this one I want it to be an imperfection. And I'm going to get that imperfection patina rust look by using the pouncing. Now you can do this on chipboard as well, but this plastic takes it really nice. So I'm just going to get some on my brush like that. Just a little bit. You don't want a lot, or before you know it, you're going to have a green gear, which is fine if that's what you want, okay? I do not ever do this on my craft mat because it takes a little bit more to clean it, and I'm impatient that way. So I just do it right on a piece of paper that I can toss. Now look how easy that is. Look how fantastic that looks. I love using this. You can use this on real metal gears as well. I have a whole bunch of real metal gears that I have done it to. And it's just going to pick up that teal again that we've got going on in our card. We do have this in the store, and I'm pretty sure Courtney has some of it. I'm going to do a few more just because I have my gears out. But you can do this onto chipboard, and it just looks fabulous. You can make your chipboard look like metal. When I did this during Crafty Maker Mania, I did it on a chipboard die cut, and it looked like a rusty truck. So that is the Patina Green. Isn't that fabulous? Oh my gosh. Just love it. Comes in all kinds of colors, just all kinds. And I just tend to save this brush for my green because I use the green a lot, so I don't clean it out. I just do it like that. And then we're done. Now, like I said, this will dry and it is permanent, so you don't have to worry about that at all. But I just love how the color is on there. And I know we have some in store. I'm pretty sure Courtney either has it or will be having it, but it just is fabulous. So I'm going to take my biggest gear that I chose for this one, and I am going to put that there. I'm going to tuck this one. Ooh, can I tuck it? Maybe not. Yep, I can. I'm going to kind of tuck it behind just a little bit, and it finishes off on the bottom of the cards. Then I'm going to take this other one, put a little bit of glue on there, and this one is going to go tucked up and under here. Ooh, I put too much foam tape. I'm going to peel my foam tape off there because I don't need it. If your foam tape's in the way, just grab it out. Okay, that's it. Of course, we can always, if you have lots of gears, if you purchased the extra gears, ours are coming, we can add in extra gears, but I don't want you to use all your gears because Courtney will be using some. I'm going to use this one. I'm not using any gears on the next one. That green of the Patina, now you can see how it just looks fabulous with the teal. Just perfect. Okay, now the last thing I did, this is totally just because I'm not going to do it because we have one more card, but I took some of the, oops, I'm opening it upside down, the glitter. This is the, I don't remember what this one's called, but it is a turquoise glitter. If you want, now some people are like, ooh, we're not putting glitter dots on something that is a masculine card, so you don't have to. But if you have them, I just put 3 up there and 3 down here, and that color is perfect for it. Okay, I'm going to move on to the last card. I hope you enjoyed that one. Little demo there on some of the waxes. If you don't have that wax, I highly recommend adding it. You'll use it more than you think. Of course, wax can go onto paper as well. Okay, last card is a super easy one with lots of layers. Okay, lots of layers. And I'm going to use a card that is horizontal, so it has the score line at the top. Score line at the top. And I'm going to trim that once again down to 5.5. Yes, those are the Pink Fresh ones. Pink Fresh glitter dots. Now, I don't have a mat on this one. Not at all. So we're just going to leave it like that. But I am going to ink it. So once again, just bringing this in. Just the edges. Not going to waste my ink because we're not going to see anywhere else. Just giving it a little bit of brown. Especially since I'm not having a mat, this will just act as a mat all the way around. Okay. Now for this one, I did these two papers. Okay, so what we're going to do with this, we're going to leave them together. So hopefully you haven't cut them apart yet. We're going to leave them together for the first cut. And we're going to take it to the halfway mark, which is about 3 inches. Put these two aside. We're going to use these 2 pieces. So about 3 inches, and I've cut both of them. Then we can go ahead and cut it in half. Now they should be, if all worked out, the same. And they are. I am going to ink the white one because the white one's just a little bit too white. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to, oopsie, that was not good. I'm going to ink up this. Now we're not going to see a lot of this. This is a background. All we're seeing is right here. Mine's going to be a really dirty brick wall from the looks of it. Not worried because we're not going to see a lot of it. I just don't want it to look pretty. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to patch our brick wall. We're going to glue this one down first. And then we're going to glue this one down over top of it. You can see I've got a little white there. It is a dirty wall, that's for sure. Very dirty. So we're going to just patch our wall. As you can see, we have 2 different walls there. That's okay. I'm going to take the first one, and it's okay that they overlap. I'm not worried about it. The white one is the first one. I'm going to glue that one down. And then I'm going to take this one and glue it right over top. This one has just lots of layers. Not difficult, just lots of layers. And I'm going to make sure that the bottom is perfect. I'm not going to worry about the top. My tops don't line up quite so well. It's not going to matter because we're not going to see the top. But we are going to see the bottom. So I'm going to make sure that my bottoms are perfect. Okay, let me find all of my pieces. Where is this one? Nope. Yep. Okay, so we have this one that I already cut out from before. And this one that I cut out from before. You can see here how Courtney and I are sharing everything. So we have these 2 papers. Okay. These have been previously cut. So look in your scraps. You've previously cut them. This one says, thank you, call again. And this one has the little man in the corner. These are the 2 that I need. I'm going to start with the gray one. I'm not adding any mats to this. I'm going to put glue on it, and I am glued up. I am going to avoid the top. Oh, I'm so happy, Wendy. Courtney and I are always on the hunt for masculine, and I know that's something that Courtney and I are going to be bringing up with a lot of vendors when we see them next week, that we need more masculine. We definitely agree. Definitely, especially after we saw how popular this was. Okay, so there's the first one, on a slight angle. Now, when I was teaching classes in person and I would tell people a slight angle, this is what I would get. I don't want you to have to cock the head so that you can see it. It is a very slight angle. Okay, so just nice and slight. Okay, now what we're going to do is take this one and put foam tape on it. And again, I'm not going to go right to the top because it's going to hang over. And I'm not going to go right to the edge because I need to tuck something in. So I need to tear off a little bit. Oops, that went right to the top, didn't it? After I just said, don't go right to the top. Leave about 1/2 inch on the top and bottom. That sounds about right. I'm going to put this piece here just to get rid of it. Okay, so foam tape on this piece with the postage, and we're going to overlap and go like that. Okay, I've left space here on purpose. Left space on purpose. Oh yeah, we know what all the guys' stuff is. That's not the problem. That's not the problem. It's unless we decide to make our own stuff, it's not easy to find. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to stuff it under. Remember, this is the piece that we cut. Here's what I'm going to do. I haven't pressed hard on that yet, so I can still stuff. If you have pressed hard, you can trim this piece. But I'm just going to lift up my foil, or my foam tape, and I'm just going to stick it like so. Waste not, want not. We're just going to stick it under there and give it another layer. You should be able to still pick up your foam tape unless you smooshed it down, in which case just cut it and slip it. Okay, now I want you to find this piece here. We're going to ink it up. It's like this little notebook. Give it a nice little bit of ink around it. I say little, and then I put a big blob on it. Goodness gracious. Okay. And the red line always goes on the left, and I'm going to just glue it flat right about there. Yep, just like that. Just like that. So this is kind of going more in the middle, but just a very, very little angle. So all we're doing is layering up all these tags and die cuts and bits and pieces and the such. Okay, the last paper we're going to add is a little bit of this grid paper. Just a little bit. So I'm going to just cut it so I can get to it. A little bit of this grid. And I want to cut this grid pattern to 2 by 3. So I'll do the 2 inches first. And we can save that big piece. 2 inches by 3 inches. 2 by 3. We might, you know what? We might just stick that. We'll see. We might stick that under there. Now I'm going to foam tape this piece, but I'm going to ink it first. So this grid I cut to 2 inches. Then I trimmed it to 3 inches. I'm going to give it some ink. And another little tip when you're inking is if you do want it to have like a harsh border around the edges, you can take your ink pad, and we call this direct to paper. And this will just really give it, depending what angle you go at, it'll give it a harsher border, a stronger border. Totally up to you. Okay, flip this over. We're going to put some of this. This is the grid paper, Debbie. It looked like this. Oops, it looked like this. It was attached to the gray. So we just took this grid and we cut a 2-inch by 3-inch piece of grid. 2-inch by 3-inch. And this piece we're just going to put kind of right in the middle. Now this is going to be, I think I'll just move it over a smidge. It's straight, although I'm not straight. Straight on in the center like that. Lots of layers. Okay, let's go to the last of our die cuts that we're going to use today. We're going to take out the camera. We're going to take out the globe. We're going to take out this blue flower. If you want a bottle of beer, you can take out the bottle of beer too. It's up to you. You don't have to. These will be for Courtney for this afternoon. So don't use all of those unless you really want to. Okay, we're going to start with our globe. I'm going to give the globe a little bit of ink, just a little bit. Again, I didn't go back into my ink pad, just kind of grabbing out what's left on there. And you know what? Let's give a little bit around the edge of our camera just to make it look a little bit aged and vintage. Maybe around the beer bottle. Okay. So we're going to start with our globe. I'm going to put a piece of foam tape behind our globe. Maybe I'll put a couple of smaller pieces. I'm not going to put anything on the bottom of the globe because I'm going to put my camera over top. And the globe is going to go... Yes. We'll need to print it, but I can print it after. I'm going to add foam tape up here, like so. Whoopsie. Foam tape at the top. Sorry, I'm all fingers here. I'm just adding a little bit of foam tape there because my globe is going to go up and over. And it's like that. Don't worry about the bottom. As a matter of fact, I'm going to cut the bottom off because it's going to get in my way. Let's get rid of that. Because we can do that. I'm going to take some more foam tape. I'm going to double up a piece. I'm going to put it underneath my globe. That's 2 times foam tape. And put my clock, or my camera, like that. So the globe is just kind of popping out. I'm going to take this flower and I'm going to tuck. I just want to see a little bit of this flower. I'm going to tuck it. I got to lift it up. Oops. Yeah. Just going to tuck that flower there. If you're using the beer bottle, that's totally up to you. I guess they felt that was kind of a guy thing. I don't know. If you're using it, fine. If not, you can save it. I'm just going to stick that beer bottle kind of up the edge here behind the flower. Just kind of like that. More because it just gives a chunk of dark there, as you can see. Now, if you want with this little scrap, you could have it there. I think I'm just going to leave it off. But that's how you just stuff whatever you have left over. Can be stuffers. And then what I did with the word for this is the last thing you need to do, is I took one of these words, cut it apart, said, "Happy birthday, you are awesome." And then I just kind of played with it there. So we've got a minute. I'll just do that for you. I did not add gears here. You can definitely add gears if you want, although I would wait and see what Courtney's got up her sleeve for you, because I know she's going to use them. And we do have more coming. Now I'm going to cut apart. I'm going to use this one. I like the font on this one. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to cut apart the happy birthday, and I'm going to mat them. And I'm going to bring in some of the brown foil for this. Got to make my happy. So there's the happy birthday. And the You Are Awesome, I don't have a huge amount of room, so I'm going to trim that down quite a bit. I know these get a little challenging to do, but I feel like... Now, while I'm doing this, if you just want to watch, that's totally fine. But I do want to tell you that tomorrow we have a new Crafty Hour that's going to release. I think we're releasing it at 9 a.m. my time. I think that's what we're doing. And I might pop on for a super quick video just to show you. Although, I'm going to be honest, we don't have everything here yet. We are waiting for one more thing that should be here Wednesday morning. So we will start processing Wednesday morning. All I'm going to tell you is it's going to be a hunky-dory one. But it's not going to be a concept one. So you will want to tune in. It's going to be cards that Courtney and I are going to be designing. Oops. And we do anticipate that one to go very fast. So if you are wanting to join us, it will go live on both of our websites. So you can hop onto our website. We're going to launch that Wednesday morning. It's a fun one. I'm very excited for it. And we'll have all the details then, of course, for you. Okay, I seem to be picking away at that. Okay. And so with these, we just put foam tape, of course, behind them. I'm going to put happy birthday here. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to have it kind of fun like that. And then You Are Awesome will also get foiled, and I'm going to put that down across the bottom and just kind of cover up some of this. So that will be the last step on that. But you don't need to watch me do that. So let's bring in our cards again. Those are our 3 cards that we created during this Crafty Hour. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, a couple of quick reminders. Our next Crafty Hour is going to be using the Spellbinders Friendship Floral. That is going to be, I can't remember what date, but we'll remind you. Yeah, I can't remember. It's a Thursday, I know. It's the day after... I can't remember. It's the day after we get back. It's a Thursday. And let me tell you, so I know a lot of you have been seeing that kind of stuff out there. We had a few people, well, we had somebody that was a little worried that, hey, it's out there. Remember, April 6th is going to be that one. We are getting more today. So if you are not on the wait list for Crafty Hour 14 and you missed out, make sure to get on the wait list for Crafty Hour 14. It's going to be amazing. We sell the product bundle, and then you come along and you can craft with us if you want, or you don't have to. But that's going to be, it's huge. I unpacked my Crafty Hour, and it is massive amounts of product. So you'll be able to create, I'm going to put a bet on at least 20 to 30 cards out of that kit. At the very least. There is so many. Okay, so Courtney has a wait list. We have a wait list, and both of us are expecting ours any moment now. So call the store, get on the wait list. If you want some wax, please call the store. We do have them here. I also have some of these brushes if you do want. So make sure that you call and get that. I know I have 2 of these Crafty Hours left in the store. So if you want another one, please call us. And I know Courtney has 2 of them left. So again, if you want one, give Courtney a call. You can make more cards. Then you can have a whole bunch in your stash. Don't forget, Courtney's at 5 p.m. Pacific time. I will post a link over to her page. That's where you're going to make her cards. And then we will be on tomorrow morning with the release of the new Crafty Hour. We think you're going to love it. So thanks for crafting with me this morning, and we'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.